So earlier today, we talked about the band Mayhem and their album Die Mysterious Dom Satanas. Now, I also mentioned a couple other bands from that same era. I mentioned a band called Darkthrone and a band called Burzum. We're going to look at one of Darkthrone's records today, and this is a record that kind of started off the whole black metal genre. I mean, Mayhem had done an LP or an EP earlier before the Death Crush EP, but I think this is where black metal really started to get its recognition, and it all started with this album right here, A Blaze in the Northern Sky by Darkthrone. Now, if you remember my last video, I mentioned that the picture on the cover was a real picture, and Darkthrone is the band that started that. As you can see, it's just a picture of a dude wearing face paint on the cover. I mean, there's not a whole lot else going on. At this time, a lot of heavy metal bands were using, painted covers. Bands like, Iron Maiden uses painted covers, and they have the best covers of all time. But it just kind of catches your eye when, you're walking through a record store and you see this, because this is not something you see every day. You don't see something just like this. It's very rare, and quite honestly, it's pretty cool. Now, there are a bunch of other releases by Darkthrone. This being one of the first in the trio of legendary Darkthrone records. The others being Under a Funeral Moon and Transylvanian Hunger, which are awesome. But as you can see, there's not much going on here, so we'll flip it to the back here. And you can see the other band. It's only a trio. Actually, nowadays I think it's just two guys doing it, if Darkthrone is even still doing stuff, because I haven't heard much. But you got, and as you can see, they all wear face paint because they want that atmosphere. Oh, and I also mentioned in my last video how Mayhem has the higher production quality. Darkthrone does not. Darkthrone goes for a very harsh sounding, awful sounding, ugly sounding record. It's just an awful sounding record, but it's got the crunch. It's awesome. If you are into low production sounds, if you are into maybe black metal demos, if you're into black metal, you have this album. It's a requirement. But that's all I'm saying, is that it's very low tech. You're not going to hear it's not going to be pretty at times. In fact, it's very rare when it's pretty. You're going to hear a lot of inconsistencies with the sound, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. It just works on this kind of record. Well, there's only 6 songs on here, and these songs go on to, the longest song on here is about 10 minutes long. And as you would expect, there's a lot of screeching, and there's a lot of good guitar playing. Oh, that's another thing. So in my last video, I mentioned Attila, who was the singer for Die Mysterious Dom Satanas, how he has that kind of moaning sound. Yeah, Darkthrone has the screeching. So if you're looking for the screeching, go to Darkthrone. You can actually go to old Mayhem or Burzum, or God, there's so many different black metal bands that do the screeching and different styles of singing. At times, you'll hear just kind of spoken vocals. It's not as spoken as you would probably think, but it's there. So, yeah, let's kind of open this thing up. Now, this is on vinyl, so it's pretty sweet. So as you can see here, you got all the liner notes to all the different songs. And on the back here, it just gives you some information about how they made A Blaze in the Northern Sky. So, it's pretty sweet. It also gives you... It's kind of cool how they give you the dates of when the songs were written here. So, yeah. As I was saying, though, originally, Darkthrone was a death metal band. They had a more death metal sound, and I forget what the first album was called, but it does not have a cover like this. It's more like a painted cover like you would normally find. So, with this record, A Blaze in the Northern Sky, they thought they would just go a different route. And their record label had trouble with that because, they didn't want to release black metal on, I think, what was a death metal record label at the time. But the band said, we're going to go over to a different record label if you can't finance this. And, well, they did. And we got A Blaze in the Northern Sky, which is an awesome album. Now, I'll talk about the other 2 albums at a different date, but I just wanted to give you another quick video on another piece of black metal history, because quite frankly this is an awesome album. It sets the atmosphere perfectly right from the get-go. In fact, the intro's like a minute and a half, and it sets the tone right away. And it concludes with the intro that's also the outro. And the music in here is very good. Pagan Burial, Pagan, Paragon Belial, wow, I'm having trouble with these names. Where Cold Winds Blow, the title track, A Blaze in the Northern Sky, The Pagan Winter, all these good songs. There's only, like I said, there's only 6, and the longest song goes up to 10 minutes. So, and they're all good songs. If you want some that'll keep you entertained, if you're into black metal, you probably already have a couple of these laying around. Now, I will say this, if you want to start getting into black metal, obviously this is going to be a lot harder to get into because of just the way it is. The screeching and all the other, the low tech. So it's a lot harder to get into black metal with this, but it's hard to get into black metal anyways. It's not something that the average listener can just enjoy. You really have to enjoy aggressive underground music if you want to listen to black metal. I also forgot to mention that, yes, that is the band's logo. It looks like a bunch of thunder and lightning, but it's awesome. You can read the Darkthrone in there. So yeah, that's about it. Like I said, you probably already have this if you're into black metal. If you want to get into black metal, this is probably not the place to start. However, this would be close to the starting point. Like if you picked up, I don't know, De Mysterious Dom Satanas, and then you went for this, I think that'd be a good balance between the screeching and the low-tech black metal and the more polished kind of moaning style of black metal. So anyways, have a nice day and take care.